So I wanted to show you what I do in the mornings. One of the tasks that I do in the mornings. You see this plant has been overtaken by weeds. And you might be asking yourself, okay, so you're a professional grower, right? So why do you have so many weeds in your plants? Now, there is a couple of things you can do about this. You could possibly mulch 2 or 3 inches of mulch may solve your problem, but eventually it will come back. And another thing you can do is put down paper and then mulch. But I'm applying fertilizer, and paper does not look that professional for customers and so forth, so I don't do that. And I'm sorry for saying and so forth. I have picked up that I say that a lot, and I'm trying to get rid of that saying. So anyhow, so this is a Kiowa blackberry. You can see, I'm gonna try and move the camera in several positions to make sure you can see how wicked the thorns are. And you say, well, why wouldn't you just get a thornless variety? Well, the thornless variety has less, the blackberries are smaller, and they're less flavorful. But back to pulling weeds. I had sort of wanted to see if this was kind of a stress relief ASMR while I chit chat along pulling weeds. It's not my favorite job, but I've become to like it. I like looking around. I like the morning sun up over there. The way the dew is on the plants, and then once I get a pile of weeds like this done, I step back and look at them, and am impressed with myself, feel accomplished. So, I mean, I guess in life, we've got to pull weeds. That's just all there is to it. My husband always asks, how come I'm so dirty? Well, here it is. And the other thing is, with the wet dew, it seems like the weeds are easier to pull when it's wet out. Don't ask me if that is a true statement or not, but it feels that way, so I'm gonna go with it. Now, you know, a weed is just a misplaced plant. And like I've said, over in that area with the mangaves, I have let, it's called artillery plant. I have let that weed go, and I wish that weed would take hold in some of my other plants, because it really chokes all this big, tall stuff out. And the reason why that there is weeds here is because most nurseries will use sterile soil, and they do that. There's reasons why they do that. It's because it's making sure that there's no pathogens, no bugs, no insects, and really it's sort of, to me, I work very hard to build our soil, to make our soil a healthy soil. And with that said, weeds want to grow in it. You have to question yourself if you've got a plant with soil in it that weeds don't want to grow in. That means your plant is not going to want to grow in it either. So, do you have any tips or tricks? And like I said, I might in the future go to think it out, go to putting a mulch. I need, you know, I'm limited with the pots right now, and I like having all that space filled up with roots. I think that's a better value, and using all my soil than disappointing a customer and having 2 inches of mulch in there. So, and, you know, the plant grows bigger in the pot, and I have to transplant it less and so forth. So, there I said it again, second time in this video. But, so yeah, this is what organic nursery people have to deal with, is pulling weeds, and what the home gardener has to deal with. And there's also there's a product on the market, and I have some here from this place used to be a nursery, so there were some supplies on the property that I've been using and trying, but they are more chemical related than I'm interested in. But there is one product called Preen and Green. The problem with that is there's a certain amount of plants that it doesn't work on, and I believe that Preen and Green is made out of corn husks, and it basically keeps seeds from sprouting. So you have to put it in there before you get weeds. So, but which is not a bad idea, but it won't do anything to plants that are already large, but it does inhibit the growth of other plants. So yeah, this is what I'm doing today. I might go ahead, shut this video off for a second, and come back and show you this section once I've got it done. And so yeah, what I was saying about the blackberries, I wanted to finish that thought process. The ones over there, those I have to pull the weeds on too, they're just smaller. They have no thorns, but the blackberries are smaller and less plentiful. So yeah, you're giving up the thorns, whereas the thorny ones, they have really big, thick, juicy blackberries. So it depends on your landscape and what you can get away with. And you can also grow, blackberries get huge, but you could grow either type. These two are erect types that really, maybe a tomato cage in a pot, but you could grow these in a pot with success. So they have erect and sprawling types. Now both of these are erect types. I didn't get any sprawling types this time, but I might get them in the future to find out the difference between berries. But blackberries grow amazingly well in our zone here in 9B, Florida. And so I encourage, it's such a simple plant that needs very little fussing. I encourage you to give them a try. And who doesn't love blackberries? Maybe, I know some people don't, but I cut. Look at that monster weed over there. That's a big old, I think they call it pigweed, but I think it's in the amaranth family, believe it or not. You know, love lies bleeding. It's amazing how some of them can be so beautiful and some of them can be more of an annoyance. This is a good looking plant here. So, anyhow, I will get back to you when I'm done with this section. Hang on a second, it'll be a minute for you, maybe an hour for me. All right, so I want to know how many people garden and don't get dirty like this. I have to admit though, I don't even try. I just dig into it, and I suppose if I was trying to avoid that, I wouldn't do it when the soil was moist and in the morning. But look at how lovely they look now. Another thing about weeding, it gives me a chance to take a look over the plant and check it for insects and other items like that. And I also try and rotate out the best looking plants for up front. Now I do sell these blackberries online, but I will remove the dirt and sell them bare root online. So if you're interested in a nice blackberry bush, and I know nowadays they sell everything teeny tiny, so you can see the size of these are not teeny tiny. But I always get on this tangent. We're gonna go take the weeds over here. of why you should shop local at your local nursery. Tomorrow I'll be blowing all of this out and making the tarp look better, and I try and do this instead of trying to do it all in one day. I keep picking it out. I got these done the other day. These are goji berries, little goji berries. But the reason why it's great to shop local is because if you go into a nursery and you see that they have a lot of a particular kind of plant, it means that it's doing well in that area. So you should take a hint upon that, that's a good plant for your area. Now, the other thing is regardless of the type of you know, when you buy a lot, there are some nurseries that will buy plants and resell them at the grown out size. They'll buy them at the size that you see here and resell them at that size. Whereas I like to, well, it's more of a cost-effective thing for me to grow out small plants to larger sizes. But the thing is when they're in the large greenhouses, they are influenced to bloom. They have a false environment. They are kept in greenhouse conditions. They are fed fertilizer and hormone regimens in order to get it to bloom in a certain season. So those are things to take in consideration when you go to your local Home Depot or Lowe's. But when they're grown in this type of environment, they're grown more naturally. You're going to take it home and it's going to do similarly or better in your own, because I have to admit, we cut costs. I don't maybe not fertilize as much, but we do water. We do try and have a good looking plant, but I'm trying to have plants that do well in this zone that need less care. So when you go to, you know, and that's another thing you got to worry about too, when you go to the big box stores, you know, you'll see things, for instance, like the I'll show you, see where I put the weeds the other day. And the reason why I'm putting them out here is I think these are potted weeds. They don't really do good out here. I'm sort of using them as a mulch for my figs or whatever. Sort of vegetation mulch. These particular weeds like to be watered every day. So out here where we don't water frequently, they dry up. I don't think that most of them are going to take hold, even though there are a few over that way. So when you are shopping at your local nursery, and the thing I was going to say is about the citrus, especially the citrus, it'll say patio plant, and that's an indication right there that it's probably just for show. You can put it in a pot and it's probably not going to grow in your zone. I'm a pretty good gardener, and I have not myself had great luck with too many citrus. So and they always call them a patio plant, so they're not telling you, they're disguising the fact that it's not grown for your area to plant in the ground. So you have to really do your research for those types of things. Anyhow, so I hope you had fun pulling weeds with me, and if you need a blackberry plant, visit sherrysplants.com. Come by and see me Thursday through Saturday, 8 to 5, and we'll set you up. They're only $10 a piece, and that's it. Have a good day. Bye now.